We're
We
live
are here.
and in person. Hello.
On the right day.
I know we're on Wednesday. We're at
Goodness,
close
it's
to
Wednesday
7
night, dudes.
p.m. We are giving away our time zones for people who want to dox us, so that's cool.
Who's doxing the two dudes with like one person watching?
I don't know, Murph. I don't know. Someone
the
with a
world is
lot of
filled
time
with
on their hands.
Interesting people, but man.
Welcome to What's in the Dungeons podcast.
Quote dungeon.
We are collectively Murph and John. We will
Those are facts.
let you figure that out as time goes on. It's like a guess who is Murph, who is John, and they're gonna realize it very quickly as soon as I call you by your name, and it'll be like, oh shit, the gig's up, unless he's referring to himself, which makes no sense.
I could really be weird.
It's okay. I got a lot of yards in
I could do all of those things.
We are two nerds who discuss the Dungeons and the Dragons and the other RPG tabletop
Kinda
games. I've got, anytime I need inspiration in this, I always forget. I can just look to my right and I have a bookshelf of a veritable trove of different TTRPGs that I can look at. And then if I turn to my left and I have the closet door open, I can see all of the other ones that didn't fit on the bookshelf. So like I have really not been utilizing the inspiration that has been given to me by my own money.
Inspiration.
Yeah, so I have several things I could just talk about, pick apart in my view. Murph is coming to us again from Not a Cave, but if you look deep in the recesses of his pupils, you will see a cave of tranquility.
I appreciate the ever-pleasant faith that you put within me.
Absolutely. Murph is officially an adult today after having received his paycheck.
I have become one with the working class American.
Yay!
To tell you the kind of day it was to celebrate, I went to the local grocery store near my house and I bought a rotisserie chicken in a bag and ate the whole chicken.
That's like the first thing you do. That's like, I think everyone does at some point as like a it's a quick, easy meal. You can eat it and it's not super, I mean, it's bad for you to eat the whole thing, but it's not like super bad. It's got protein. It's chicken, so it's not bad meat. It's
added extra grease to it. It's just the grease naturally from the chicken.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is like my intention was not to just eat it out of the bag. My intention was to buy it, place it on a plate, cut it into sandwich meat, and then eat it progressively.
No, Murph. No, that's not how you devour a rotisserie chicken.
Well, the issue was that I got here and it was 6:38, and I went, "Oh fuck, we stream very soon." So I opened the bag and proceeded to walk around. Out of the bag while I did other chores so that I could get here.
Murph, we appreciate your timeliness as it is 7 o'clock. But you could have just asked if we could have started 7:15. It would have been fine. Wouldn't have cared. Anywho, we are currently streaming, discussing topics such as last week we talked about weddings, funerals, and baby showers. I'm not mainly because Murph is going to be having a funeral soon. No, Murph is going to be having a wedding soon.
Cannot confirm nor deny.
Yeah, who knows? Today, I thought we could discuss some things. We're doing our in-person Dungeons and Dragons thing. We've been playing a game called The Quiet Year to set up the world for that, which has been pretty fun. I also do a what is that, like a teleconference D&D on average about once a month. It's supposed to be every Tuesday, but it averages out to about once a month, maybe twice a month.
So one Tuesday.
It was nice. We had a good session yesterday after a while, and there was only 3 of them though. So it was our group is supposed to be 5. One has not been in a very long time as he's had a lot of life events going on. And then one had like a thing they had to go do. So we decided to go ahead and I cannot show yawning. What the fuck?
Okay, man. It's Wednesday.
It is. Well, I was off today, so I don't know why I'm yawning.
Oh, I didn't know you were off today.
I have had Wednesdays off for a while now. Normally I had Thursdays, but it swapped over to Wednesdays just because, I don't know, it did.
Because reasons.
So it's nice. I like having a day in the middle of the week because it's like it's a nice sort of break from it, and it also means that I can get a lot of stuff done when a lot of other people are at work. So I can get groceries, I can do doctor's appointments, I can do adult things, and no one will really bother me because everyone's at work at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. But what was I even saying? I got sidetracked.
We were talking about the quiet year.
Oh yeah.
And your D&D session.
So we played for the first time in a while. It was nice. It was good. We got back into it. We started a new arc in that campaign where I'm utilizing the Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft campaign setting for that campaign, which is very good. I like it. It's very it's horror driven, so it's more mystery and intrigue. It has, fighting and violence and magic and stuff like that.
Is this the same group that had like the Mind Flayer Lich guy?
Yeah, that was sort of the same thing. They've moved planes now. They're on a different plane.
Have they figured out that they can't go home yet?
Yeah, they did. They tried putting in like a little sapling from one of the druids' home trees, and it just disintegrated it. So they put it into the train that they're on to try and take it. Right. Sorry, I in my mind I knew what I meant, but then when I
the context of that, because I remember you stating that they were going to try that, and then you were like, but they're about to find out real soon that's
well, the sapling he used was actually one that he'd found on the train, like as the train was trying to lure him in. So the machina I used was that it was already a part of the train. It wasn't actually a sapling from his home tree. It was just part of the train, and it returned to the train when they put it in the generator. So they used like a dust cag's horn and got to this other plane, which is, it's going well. They got some stuff done. I'm really trying to break some of their habits in regards to running around doing random bullshit. So we're gonna try and keep it a lot more structured than it has been. I also gave them a map of the region this time, which I haven't done before, just to kind of nudge them to do things without me having to railroad it into their ass.
I spent 12 years digging this hole. Why?
It's okay. If they want to do that, I'll narrate it for an hour and a half. I don't mind.
You find nothing. I dig again. You find nothing.
So I got that, and then we're gonna actually be finishing up our next. So we're gonna be meeting this Sunday. Quick housekeeping. Next Sunday we will not be able to because Josh said he's got something going on, something with friends, and I called him a loser. So I don't know.
Okay, so so next Sunday, do we want to change our personal other game to that Sunday if everybody's available?
Potentially, yeah. If Kimmy's available,
we can get there at if she's available, because it'll be after like 9. We can get there early enough that we're not there super late. Nobody has to worry about.
So the 2nd we will all meet, and the 9th I think is when Josh is not available. So we could do the other thing. I think we'll also be free at 8 again this Saturday if y'all wanted to come hang out. I don't know.
Yeah, the biggest thing is this Saturday. I don't know. I think I'm spending the night with her there because her parents are, she can't leave. So typically her parents are at home. They watch the dog. But because they're going to Vegas for her family,
Vegas.
We have to watch the dog. So they have a brother that lives there, apparently.
Okay, never mind. That's fun still. You get some quality time in an empty house with your bride-to-be. That's always sexy.
And a doge.
And a dog, of course. Yeah. Of course, a dog. So we're going to be this Sunday. We made really good progress last session. We made it through basically 2 whole seasons. So there's 4 seasons. The first session we took about 2 hours determining the geography of the region and the size of the town would be, which was fine. We got through a little bit of the first. We got through all of spring and then basically it. And then last session we did all of summer and all of fall. And then this session we will be doing all of winter, and then we might, depending on, because it's all going to depend on when we draw the King of Winter and the game ends, but we might have time to create characters depending on how quickly we advance through, because I don't have a big sort of role-playing event again, which I wanted to talk about slightly. We did, like I said, I've broken up the seasons with events so that it provides some type of, pause from just playing this map building game for 6 hours straight. And the one after fall summer was supposed to be that all of the Maronites disappeared. The Maronites are these people in the campaign, or in the world, that followed the gods, and now the gods are gone, so they're kind of outcasts. Some view them as traitors, some view them as liars. Whatever they are, it is what it is. But the card directly before summer ended was a group arrives. Who are they? And what do they provide? And Josh got the card, and Josh chose, well, we have a very large pilgrimage of Maronites arrive, and they want to stay in the town. And I was like, oh my God, this next event is going to make no fucking sense. They get there and then they leave? What the fuck? That doesn't... So I literally, like, no one saw it, but I flipped back, and I just crossed through the whole event I had written down, because I was like, fuck. I was like, okay, I cannot do this.
Time prepping for this
it's okay. It's okay because what I've realized about the seasonal events I prepared is that I haven't used any of them. They've all been different than what I specifically wrote down, and I like that because I like using things as they come as opposed to preparing things. Like, I'll prepare narration and dialogue, but I like having that sort of, you have to think on your feet. Ooh, it's invigorating, and I liked it. And we were all a little bit tipsy anyway, so it was kind of fun. But
simply.
Yeah, we had, the three of them drank, I think, at least 3/4 of a case of simply
lemonade,
tainted
spiked.
lemonade. Yeah, spiked lemonade, which was fun. And I had I think I had an old fashioned, and that was it. Yeah. But it required me to immediately say, okay, fuck shit, I can't do this. So then we basically had a prolonged role playing session. For like 45 minutes of these people show up, they want to drag the Maronites out and basically, commit genocide on them, et cetera, et cetera. And I was really surprised at how well everyone, I basically divided everyone up and gave them a character they had to play. We had created these, we didn't create them, but we had named these individuals in town. We had Persephone, we had Gerard, we had Nicodemus, and we had Octavian. And no one, like, they were people we had named at some point or another, and had used, and they had kind of become influential people in the town. They weren't, leaders. They weren't the leader. There had been some stuff happening with all of them. And so I basically just assigned everyone a role and said, okay, we're going to role play out how this conference goes with these people who want to take out like 200 of your newly arrived friends and murder them. What do you do? And it was actually really cool because everyone really played into their characters in a way that I was hoping for. Because the easiest thing to do in a game where there are no stakes and it's cooperative is everyone just agrees with each other, and it's great, and it's all flowers and roses and everything's easy and simple and boring. But it was actually really good because Troy played Persephone, which was Persephone was the character that he had actually created forever ago, and she was like this
first game, very early on, and she's like this seductress, she think like underground vampire mommy, but
not a vampire
mommy. She's like not a vampire. She's just, she wants to be clean.
She seduced men to follow her and like commit crimes at night for her and like improve her standing in the community and like all this shit. And right before this had happened, she had actually carried out a coup and murdered the whole council, and was trying to set herself up as the queen, kind of shadow court style.
So orchestrated technically a bunch of people to pretend to be the gods to start a bunch of bullshit during the day, which was her downfall.
Yeah, so she was an agent of chaos, and she just wanted to be queen. That was like her whole goal, was she wanted to be queen. She not any real backstory there. Murph was Gerard, who was the hammer,
the shield.
We changed it to the
shield.
He was the shield of the watch, or of the Centurions, and basically was like the head of the government adjacent militia. And then we had Josh play as Octavian, the only surviving member of the Council of Stone that Persephone had just murdered, and I played Nicodemus, the high alchemist who was on the seat of gears. And it was actually really cool. We had a lot of fun with it. And it was cool. We all played our characters very well. The guy from this group was like, do you have any of these people in your community? If so, who are they with? How do we get rid of them? And at first everyone was like, no. And then very quickly Persephone was like, he left the room and like for everyone to deliberate. And the deliberations were going really well until Persephone was like, I'm not gonna do shit until you make me your queen. Like this is my one goal. You can sign this paper, or I will tell everyone that the Maronites are hiding with you guys and they'll kill all of you. And we had kind of reached a compromise, and then Josh was like, playing as Octavian, was like, I'm not gonna bow down to this woman unless we have joint rulership. Like, I can overlook the fact that you murdered all my colleagues if we have this sort of joint council representative monarchy type deal where you rule and we also, have control over laws and shit. And I was like, okay, that's a good compromise. But Troy's like, no, Persephone wants to be queen. She's gonna be 100% or 0%. This is all you get. So it came down to a dice roll of her convincing the leader of the Deacon's Ward, I think his name was Gordon, that the Maronites were hiding with them, or they were trying to convince them that the Maronites were actually all of Persephone's followers. And we didn't have stats or anything, so I just had them all roll d20s and like a coin flip. 10 or above, 10 or below, 11 or above was a success, 10 or below was a failure. And we had some mixed results. He believed that the Maronites were with Persephone, and then like chained all of her people up underground, and then Josh's character used this poison cloud machine. It was a very convoluted process, but basically all of the Deacon's Ward died.
She was gonna get away with it because she was having them killed in the distance.
Yeah.
Like, no, screw that. Cork up the exits.
Yeah. So Merv's character clothed up all these exits where the gas could seep out. Josh's character pumped the Undercroft full of gas, killed off all of Persephone's followers and all of the Deacon's Ward in the same stroke. Unfortunately, Murph didn't roll like a complete success on his roll, so
10 random people died. I'm sorry.
There's some random people in the town that died. Persephone escapes. All during this, Nicodemus, my character, staying pretty neutral, and I think it was a point of contention with some people, but at the end it was revealed why. And so she escapes. There's mutated, deformed bodies found down there after the smoke clears out. And then Nicodemus is discovered to be not by anyone. It's like a sort of a cut scene of him opening a locket, and inside is a picture framed of Persephone, as if there's some connection there, and he was not wanting to get himself killed, but not wanting to necessarily see her die as well. So it was a really good scene, and I think it probably took about 30 to 45 minutes, and I was really surprised at how well everyone did stepping into their character, and then on the back end stepping out of them. Like we were playing as our characters, and then we ceased, and then we got back to playing a map building cooperative community game.
Rip Gerard.
Yeah, and then Gerard almost immediately died in an earthquake because I pulled a card that said someone important died.
You know what, though? And I appreciate it just as a player for someone that I know that we're not supposed to take sides about characters, but like obviously I had been working with Gerard there for a little bit, so the fact that you didn't make him die like a bitch made me feel
well, and that's why. So I wanted someone to die, and I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but I also wanted it to be meaningful. Like I could have just said Joe died. Joe Smo, who lived in an alley, died of the plague. Like
that random guy, Cliff.
Cliff, the angry old villager.
Asshole.
Yeah. So I wanted someone meaningful to die in a way that was effective, and also, I mean, there's now rumors that he's not dead, so who knows? As there was.
Well, now we have Danicus, which is a cool representation within itself. So.
Yeah. So there's growth, and there's unity, and it's just really cool to see how everyone I feel like last session was just like immensely not better, but it just felt like everyone was in the hang of what they were supposed to be doing. There wasn't a lot of time spent worrying about what projects we were going to accomplish. There wasn't a crazy ton of I don't think anyone followed a lot of chains of trying to get a bunch of stuff done. Everyone was like, okay, this is interesting, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do. It was much less A to B to C to D to E. It was more, let's just see what the fuck is happening. Which is, I kind of like that random chaos, because it personifies a community's forces a lot better, because no community is able to ever just go, complete this goal, then the next one, the next one, the next one, and then we're ultra rich and we're amazing and powerful.
And surprisingly enough, like, we haven't really had to step on a lot of people's toes. Like, a lot of the contention we've had with each other has kind of resolved itself through just how it worked. I know I pissed Josh off at first killing the council. I know that kind of bothered him.
I mean, I think it was fine though, because
but it kind of worked out, because now we actually have like a real form of government, like that meshes. It's not just like two people. It's
and I think that it worked out in a way I did not foresee it, because I was just kind of like there's a in state I was kind of hoping for, of like certain people, certain places, certain things, but at the same time it's been really fun to see everything kind of take its own course. Like, this is the world as it is now. Like, this is just kind of cool. And I actually today, since it was my day off, I went to the cafe and I was like, I need to do some writing. So I did some writing, probably for about an hour, and it because I didn't have an ending yet. Like, I started it intentionally without having written what the end was, because I wanted to see how factors were shaping out. Like, I didn't want to because I'd realized, like, with the events early on, they weren't ever going to play out like I wanted them to. Like, I didn't want to shoehorn something in that wasn't going to fit. So I didn't actually write the winter event, like the end of the, like, when the Frost Shepherds come. I didn't say what that was yet. I just finished that today. And I also kind of struggled with, like, what exactly it was supposed to be, because it's this big sort of end of the year thing everyone knows is coming, and it's so easy to be cliche with it, right? It's so easy to say the whole world erupts, and surprise, there was a dragon in the center of the earth and it eats a lot of things and runs off. Like, there's a lot of tropes you could play with. Like, okay, there's a meteor shower and it decimates everything, or there's a great storm and everyone has to live underground, or magic goes haywire and kills a bunch of people. Like, there's a lot of, like, I kept having the issue of thinking of something and then going, no, this is from that. No, this is from that. No, I can't do a demon spirit kills a bunch of people, because that was Blue Exorcist, the anime. I can't do a storm drives everyone underground or into a dome, because that's like 17 different movies and shows that have happened. I can't do aberrations start coming out of a portal, because that's The Witcher in the conjunction of the sphere. Like, there was just so many, like, I sat just like chewing on my pen for about 20 minutes, just running through all these things and going, no, it's that. No, it's that. And then in the end, I was like,
it's gonna be something.
It's got to be something.
So many.
And the nature
my
of
immediate thought immediately also canceled itself out. I was like, well, what if you just do, like, all children born into the world after the calamity die, and that's supposed to kill everyone off? And I went, well, that's children of men. But secondly, how are we gonna play the D&D campaign?
How are we gonna play a D&D campaign?
like,
okay.
Born at some point. Like, and you play 4 old dudes, and that's the game.
Everyone's a geriatric. It's very fun. It's very exciting.
It's a no combat.
Everyone's speed is halved. Everyone's memory is shit.
So, fun fact for you, though, that's even a book. There's this fantastic book by Peter Staub, who helped write The Talisman with God, I should know this is one of those names. Stephen King. Him and Stephen King wrote the book The Talisman, but he wrote a book called Ghost Story, and the book is about 4 old guys and 1 young guy taking on a demon ghost.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Like, oh, that's a D&D campaign.
And I think I think that after a while, I just kind of decided I'm gonna pick something, and it's probably gonna be a little bit tropey. I'll put my own spin on it, so it's not that bad, and then we'll see how it goes. And even then, like, as I was writing it, I was like, you know what? And something might happen towards the end that changes this completely. Like, I left it. Yeah, like not fucking it up. Like not fucking it up at all. Because, like, in the terms of fucking it up, every event I've had happen or every project I've started has been fucked up. But I think it's turned out better than it was. Like, that role-playing thing we did was like the best single experience I've ever had with a group of people who were committed to characters. Like, it was so nice. Not that any of my past D&D groups have been bad. It's just like there was a image in my head of how I wanted things to go, and there was a way how it went, and I thought it was different, but in the end it turned out the same, because I didn't know what my goals were. My goals were that we were able to role play an event and have a good time, and that happened, just not in the way I expected, and not in a way that was necessarily word for word what I had written down, which I like. I like having that veneer of control ripped away, because then it lays bare creativity. And I think that is what a D&D campaign or a tabletop role-playing game is about. It's about creativity. Like, how can you tell a collaborative story together that's meaningful, that brings forth emotion and passion and buy-in without railroading someone else's. And I think that we did a really good job of that in this last session. And I'm really excited because I think the ending is going to be very good. And I've definitely I've purposely left parts of the paragraphs I wrote today empty, just because I want certain things to be subjective. Like, I want certain things to be up to whatever happens in the world as we continue on. Because there's no telling when at the end is going to happen. When we enter winter, that's a fun way of saying it. When we enter winter, there's going to be a chance with every card we draw that the game's over and the ending happens. We don't know. So there's this, like, with spring, summer, and fall, we had a guarantee we're going to make it through this season to the end. We're going to make it through this next season. We're going to make it through the next season. We're going to make it through at least 13 weeks of a season. And now we don't have that guarantee. We've got, card by card as we play it, what are we doing? What are we figuring out? So there's this, added sense of timeliness to everything. Of what do we get done? What do we prioritize? The cards are a lot harder to deal with because there are some that just say no projects tick down this week, or cancel all projects, or one project fails and another one starts. Like, there's a lot of allocating specific resources because there's this thought in the community that something's bound to happen. We don't know when it is. So what do? Do we take on long projects with the assumption that we'll get through it and hope for the best? And if it sucks, well, we've got a shit ton of unfinished projects. Or do we only do really small, kind of meaningless, trivial things, but at least we know they'll get done because it's only 1 or 2 weeks. So it's a lot more
it's gonna be
frantic.
It's gonna be more interesting to do that. I have genuinely thought over the last few days, like, small things that I could be like, all right, what does the community need? What is it? But the issue is, like, there's nothing that I personally could pick that Josh or Troy couldn't also possibly do. And it's just like, I don't know what direction to go in because we just had weird problems introduced to us. So the volcano just erupted.
Yeah.
But there was no discretion about what happened to the shiny thing. So why did that volcano erupt? What's the shiny thing got to do with the volcano?
Because that was actually, I had that written down as a plot point specifically, was what would happen if someone made it over there, and what would happen if they didn't.
Yeah, got completely fucked up.
Yeah, and so like we had sent this scouting party over to this mountain. We discovered, I think this mountain we discovered like in our first season. Like, I feel like the first season you found that mountain. The question I got
was, there is a landmark that is beautiful. What is it and why? And I said, I don't know, this fucking mountain somewhere.
It's a sparkly mountain. It's a vampire mountain. But we had that. And so it'd been there for so long. And so I'd written it into something, kind of as like an idea, as an afterthought. And then I had sent the scouting party after it. And then they all fucking died. And we got some ominous message from them. Don't come.
Died.
Yeah, we don't know.
Who sends we are dead in a note?
All we know is that it is now erupted at the end of fall, going into the cold season, and no one's really like. But I have like a specific thing that has happened because no one knows what that was.
You stated something, and I didn't know if this was just like a statement error or if you meant to say this specifically. So maybe I can ask you about it now. When you said that the volcano erupted, you said that the ash covered the air and stuff. But then you said, but things got warmer. And in most cases, ash coverage blocks sunlight.
Yeah,
so
it makes it cold.
Colder.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know if that was on purpose.
No, it was definitely on purpose.
Oh, okay. I was just like, warmer.
Yeah.
What could be possibly causing it to be warmer?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's also winter, so it should be getting colder. So there's a lot of things happening that are weird.
So it turns out the planet is actually just getting closer to that hate ball in the air.
Who knows?
That's the calamity. So we're colliding into the sun.
Who knows? I think
the giant Teletubby baby face.
It is actually the Teletubby baby face. Absolutely, 100% it is. But I am excited for the end because it means we get to start D&D in earnest, and I think it probably won't take us but an hour or two to get through winter, and then we'll have a couple hours to create characters. Josh was telling me he thinks he already knows what he's going to play, and I said, please don't know what you're going to play already, because I haven't even gone over all the options. Like, for the most part, I don't think anyone knows all the classes and races that are going to be available to play, and I want everyone to pick what they want to pick, but I need them to be aware of all the options, if that makes sense. Like the standard, I'm going to be an elf wizard. Okay, but did you know you could also play X. Like you have all these
anything
you could and not even elf, like you have all these other races you could like pick what you want, but at least educate yourself on all the different choices I'm making available to you. Because I mean, I'm fine with it, but if it's just 3 human fighters, I get it, like that's easy, that's basic, but also at the same time, like it would be cool if like somebody wanted to play something else. And I don't want you to not pick something because you didn't know about it. I want you to not pick something because you don't want to play it. Like that's an easy reason.
Let me ask you this: in the off chance a character dies in our session, do we have the chance to create someone new and continue, or is it like?
Oh no, I shoot you. I pull the gun out that I have taped under the table and I shoot you. And
I made it impossible for you to die, and you died anyway.
Yep, I just fucking shoot you right in the chest. You're dead. No.
I have a better D20 roll than I have a D6 roll, so I'll take that.
Just a bit. Yeah. No, but I think yeah, I mean, we'll continue play, and I don't intend on killing people. I don't intend on saving people. Your actions designate the outcome is the easiest way to play.
Well, I'm curious about this whole mutated creature thing and the potential that people are coming back to life because and again, you don't have to answer this. I'm just putting this out in the world. My curiosity is if this is going to play into the campaign or not, because that could be something that could be wrapped up with a nice little bow.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's been a couple of things that were mentioned that I thought might actually spill over into the campaign. That by chance we ended up wrapping up story-wise within the community of building the game. And I'm like, oh, okay, well then that happened, and then so I don't know. I can't wait to see. I mentioned that the river kills people. So.
Yeah, we had that like towards the very end of the last session where it's revealed that the drinking water in the town is only drinkable because there's some curse on the river that saps the life force of the weakest members or the oldest, I guess. So when people die of old age in this town at 50 or 60. It's almost always because the river needed their life force to purify itself for us to drink it.
Because it's constantly pure water, and that's the.
Yeah, I like that. That was a good, interesting. But there are definitely things I have written little asterisks next to that will be, depending on how the season. I have little plot points next to things that I wanna bring into other things, and it's mostly everything. But there's definitely some things that I want to add like a shiny focus on as we go into the D&D campaign, because it's a very good, and I think that if I ever do a campaign again, I will probably try to keep the Quiet Year involved somehow, because it's a really
cool, interesting way, because now we'll know the world we're going into. At least in some brief summary.
Absolutely. It creates a level of buy-in with the characters that are playing your game to where I don't have to give you a tome of the Encyclopedia Britannica of how this world was created and how it works and how everything is in it. And sure, there's things y'all don't know about in this world that I do, as is just because you haven't asked or we haven't discovered it yet. But I mean, for the most part, you know how things are going. You know what makes up this place. And it also allows, like, I've gotten so many good ideas just piggybacking off of everyone else's creativity for how to flesh things out. That it's just, I've never had the benefit of that in a normal D&D setting where I've had like either a preset campaign or, my own notes. And it's definitely helping me think through like how things are going to be. And I really like that.
Yeah, the interesting, the things that are catching my eye that I'm peaked to try to figure out how they're going to work is, I didn't realize that the cloud machine had become a death gas machine.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see how that continues. We still have a giant temple that hasn't really been explained much.
No, not at all.
There's some shit in it, and we haven't really gone anywhere with that.
We built a building in front of it and then kind of left it alone.
We got some big-ass edible trees that now have nothing in it.
Because they brought us a bunch of fruit. And then we also built houses in them.
Yeah, I don't know, in the edible tree. We got weird grub things that you can make shit ass hot dogs out of grubs and bark. We got the weird things walking around. We have the pit of eternal stench.
Yeah.
It's not really called that for anybody that gives a shit.
No, we called it the fissure.
The fissure. Spiky, mutated.
Spiky butthole.
In the sand. No. No, there's a lot going on that I'm interested. I'm really curious to see. Or I'm hoping, because I know that you're saying not to do this, but and I won't. I'll do my best. But like I created the academy, and I kind of want to see how you run with that. Or if it's still around.
It burns to the ground immediately. Surprise.
Well, or standing army comes in and takes it over, and because like I was just able to get the partnership with the
tome. Yeah.
The tome. So now that we have like some sort of like co-op
Yeah, we've definitely got an organized military force of some kind, at least, and I think
like
that's
also
cool.
like humanitarian effort is captured
Yeah.
because like now we have like the students of the school are taught self-defense, so they're not
Mm-hmm.
helpless. So we have a constantly growing militia in that sense. We've got a standing force military with trained military leaders because there's a school for it. And then we have like essentially the beginning of what could be a mages guild happening
Yeah.
because we've got the law. So like we went from, all right, where are we putting this fountain? to
Yeah,
like,
and I think
where are we
that's
putting all these people?
I've written this sort of this history of the world down as this character scribe that I've created, and I've like the one I wrote today was like a lot of shit happened. Like we went from not really knowing what to do to not only do we know what to do, we now have a means of doing it, and I really like that. Not to kind of diverge away though. I kind of wanted to ask you some questions specifically. We're finishing up the Quiet Year. We're moving into our real D&D campaign, and I feel bad discussing the Quiet Year a lot because nobody's going to be able to know what it is we're talking about because no one's watched us play it. So in an effort to actually provide a good audio, we're on the edge of being able to play like D&D, like real life D&D. What kind of character are you thinking about right now?
So I don't know much about the races of D&D. I know as we've talked through what episode are we on now? Like almost 11.
This is 11 or 12. We hit 10 last time, and I meant to say something.
Cool. So 10 episodes in. We've done it.
Yeah.
That's it. Congratulations, we're done. No, so again, as we've talked in previous episodes, my knowledge of D&D is baseline conversation with you and other people, my one or two one-off kind of one-shot sessions, what little critical role I've seen, some other stuff, and then things that are based off
a lot of
races
memes about
Tolkien.
Warlocks.
Yeah, so many memes. Gotta love them. But then obviously equated things that we've talked about, like my love of Dragon Age, Skyrim, stuff like that. Like, and thank God Josh is into that stuff too, because we can have full conversations about it. But like those are the like mixed media tells me what I know of D&D, and then what I've learned from you from this podcast. And so there's a lot of stuff that I think would be cool to try. I just don't know enough about the races to play because each one has racial specialties.
Yeah, and that's the thing they got away from, and that's what I'm going to discuss at our next session is with the new sort of race builds. There's a lot of fluidity in how you customize your race. Most of them don't have ability score improvement specific to their race anymore. They have like a couple of racial features that are interesting, but other than that, it's mostly flavor. Like they got rid of a lot of the predetermined racial things. Now, like if you're a Tabaxi, you get unarmed claw attacks. If you are a half orc, you get like an endurance. If you're if you're a Goliath, you get stone's endurance. Like there are specific features you have, but in regards to like is one better than the other? No, they're all pretty good, or pretty bad. It just depends on how you play. So the race, at least specifically, is more of a how do you want your character to be and not how do you want them to do.
I know that you sort of made fun of it already in today's session, but I told you, I admitted last time that there are specific ways that I play. And it's not so that I can play. Well, okay, I admit in a lot of RPGs I try to play as myself because I go, well, what would I do? And then I do it.
Yeah.
But I have a problem putting myself in someone that I can't experience how they feel. Like I will never know what it's like to be a dwarf.
Yeah.
I can try. I can do my best to try to think like one, but I don't know what it's like. I don't know what they do, and I can't honestly say like maybe I'm just a shit actor because like I don't like there's certain people I could put my head around, but like if I want to play a character how I think that they would be accurately, I have to be able to relate to them in some sense.
Yeah.
And my issue is like, so who, like the race that automatically jumps out is like, well, I know what a human is. I know what a human does. I know what a human believes. I know how a human feels. So I know that race group would be something that I could play. Yeah. The class, the only thing that I have thought of is that I'm not playing anything that is major with spells. Because not for my first time playing a legit D&D session, I'm not going to try
I understand that, but I don't want it. Any decision you make, I don't want to be made on a feeling of inadequacy on your part to play it right, because I'm not going to punish a lack of understanding.
I want to be able to enjoy the game at first to get how it's supposed to feel before I start stressing out about, well, can I do this or can I do that, or having to stop
Murph, you're gonna be stressing about that no matter what you do.
No, but in the sense of like, I don't want to feel like in the game that I do at work, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to feel like I have to stop things and go, okay, is this allowed? Is this a thing? Or constantly be like, I formulated this whole plan, and then you're like, okay, I like the enthusiasm, but no, and I'm like, fuck, like I don't mind having something that has spells, but I don't want to work with something that is strictly spell casting at first. I would like to ease my way into that, and then once I'm a more experienced player, start tackling things that make more sense like that. So we talked about rangers and stuff before, but I don't know all the subclasses now. I don't know how all of those have changed. So
I've got all the books.
Educate me. Yeah, I'm gonna let you educate me on that stuff before I make a final decision.
That's good. Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I have 0 ideas for characters.
That's
I don't know
good.
who or what I'm playing. So I'm gonna let that be based off of what we talk about.
Mine is almost all. If I haven't played a character in so long, Murph. It's insane. If I play a character, I usually go for something with spells and something crazy. Like I don't know. I like playing weird things.
Goblin necromancer.
I played a Furbolg necromancer one time, which was pretty fun. I played a I don't remember what race it was. I played a Hexblade Warlock, which is a warlock who gets martial weapon proficiencies and has ability.
Sword in some kind,
well, sort of.
Hexblade, but is it enchanting the sword on your own, or is it a person who uses spells that also has a sword?
It's more that, but also like your blade can curse people, and you get specific. Like your patron is like a knightly spirit maybe, or a being of war. You know, something like that. And it's pretty cool. It was fun to play that because I think that character was like 55 or 60, and he had just made a pact with his patron. He just made a pact with his patron to become a Hexblade because his like family estate had been taken from him at a very late age in life, and he was like, I gotta get this back, but I'm old, I got creaky bones and shit, and so he was like, I'm gonna make this pact, be able to swing a sword again, and now I have some creepy cursing powers, which is cool too.
So it basically like reinvigorated him.
Yeah, he got some cool powers, and it was fun to roleplay because he's like a kind of a curmudgeonly old asshole who didn't quite understand the lengths of his power sometimes, but also sometimes took that to mean he could do something he couldn't. Like he was having a hard time finding the limits / thresholds of his ability. So he can on one hand cast a curse of enfeeblement on someone, but on the other hand can't lift heavy objects. So it's like what can and can't he do. And it was fun to kind of role play that in a setting where just trying to figure shit out, and also at the same time pretend like have some sense of nobility and propriety and stuff like that. And that was a fun character to play. But I generally try to play characters that are more, I don't know, interesting, not even interesting, more like just like
cookie cutter.
But even then I like the flat cookie cutter idea because it's like you can do so much with that, and you can subvert expectations. Like, oh my god, you're a fighter who has the ability to kill people. Why are you a fighter? I don't know, I like swinging a sword, it's cool, I want to go on an adventure. Did your parents die? Are you trying to nope, they're back home farming.
I was born.
It's cool. I mean, we're all good. Then why are you out here? I just got bored one day. I want to do some shit. That's also kind of interesting.
Jackie Chan, specifically in.
So and there's plenty of opportunities for that in Dungeons and Dragons as a vehicle for it. And I like that. I think you can go edgy, you can go boring, you can go mysterious, you can go interesting. There's lots of ways you can take
mysterious.
It. Yeah, I always
TikTok that stands on the park bench and sings.
I always advise against that sort of personification because it's like, my parents died in a fire, and my sister
set that fire.
My sister was kidnapped, and my uncle was turned into a stone statue, and I've lived on the streets. Okay,
I was raised by a dragon.
Inject some hardships and stuff, but make it like, okay, come on, like, and now you're a shadowy ninja assassin, and I have to okay, that's good in some cases, but if every one of your characters has the same tragic backstory trademark, it gets very old very quick, and it's like, okay, well, what about if you just play something different? Like I like seeing people experience different things, and I think that is one of my drives, especially as a DM, is I want to get people out of their normal ideas of how things go. Like I've got a player right now who's very convinced that his family was killed by an orc raiding party, which is true. But that's led his character to believe that all orcs are evil and he needs to kill all orcs. So I've just been slowly injecting very noble orc characters as NPCs so that, you know, he is faced with, well, what does this mean? How do I reconcile this?
Stop being racist.
So yeah, basically, so like they met a half orc monk, and his first instinct was like, I gotta kill you, and all of the party members were like, no, stop it, don't. There's no reason, stop it. So now there's like, you know, the added pressure of his friends are now like, bro, you gotta chill out, like you're on. So I'm trying to like. I like subverting expectations in that sense of.
And by the end of it, he's happily married to an orc woman.
Who knows? Who knows at this point? You know,
his new family is orcs.
They're all half orcs.
That's the happy end. All right, close the book.
Yeah, we're done. So
Shrek.
I'm really excited. The start of a campaign for me is always the most fun because it's. Especially in this setting, because I've already got a world like almost pre-made at this point, and it allows me to guide people in creating characters, which I find really exciting. It allows me to have a level of, you know, sort of teaching and understanding between people. The campaign itself is horrifying. Like it terrifies me, like writing a full D&D campaign now, because it's like, oh my God, I've had so many that have ended before they finished, not because the writing was bad, but just because the groups no longer existed. And I translated that very quickly into, well, they must not have just liked me as a DM. So it's nerve-wracking, because like the Quiet Year is, if the Quiet Year turns out badly, I can sort of say, well, it wasn't just me. It was, you know, we had 3 other people. So if it's a bad story, maybe it wasn't me. But like with the D&D campaign, it's like, okay, well, they make choices in this world, but I have written the story. Like I am fully responsible for this journey. And, you know, there's all these expectations of Critical Role and the Adventure Zone and Dungeons and Daddies and all these like big podcasts and groups that do D&D. And it's like, how do I do that? And it's like, no, you can't do that. You don't have, you know, $100,000 funding to do that. You don't have
get a full animated Zoom.
Yeah. You know, you don't have a production team or a soundboard. Like it's gonna be what it is. Yeah, it's you know, the 4 of us and some books and papers and pencils and maps, and that's how it's gonna be. And
but that's how it starts, and that's the difference between us and a lot of stuff. Is like you were an experienced DM taking 3 absolute noobs and trying to do something, and to expect Critical Role. That's like saying I'm gonna go watch a movie about superheroes and then go jump off a building and then be like, why can't I
yes,
fly?
Mark, that's fully reasonable in my mind. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to.
I'm glad that we're in agreement that I should be able to fly.
Absolutely, Murph. Absolutely. But it's fun. I'm really excited, and I think it will also give us a good amount of questions and materials for the podcast that we're doing, and it will also allow for a level of education on your part, so that, you know, you don't, maybe you're not always the one asking questions, you know, maybe you're answering them sometimes, and that would be cool.
Hey.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, the worm has turned.
I'm going to make you this promise. I know that with the wedding and stuff, planning on my end, like free time, not to say that I don't have any, but it's been kind of scarce, but I am going to make a genuine effort to understand. So I'm going to research. I'm going to watch videos. I want to give it my best effort, because I don't want, if the campaign fails, I don't want it to be because I sucked. And not saying, but I don't want to be part of the problem. I want to be part of the solution if something's going on. So if you're struggling to get something through to us,
well, Murph, if anyone becomes part of the problem, I've got that gun taped to the table, and that's what that's for. Yeah. So
it's a tranquilizer.
Watch your fucking self. Yeah, it is full of horse tranquilizer. Just knock them out, and then you wake up and I've rewritten your character sheet.
How do you like being a horse boy?
Oh, you're a centaur now, bitch. Your worst fear is realized.
And you're owned by a noble asshole who treats you like a normal horse.
Yep. Haha. Sucks to suck.
Enjoy the oats and the feedback.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm excited. And do you have any questions about the preeminent campaign that is approaching us rapidly?
My thing is just like, as you know, my favorite thing is character building in the sense of like creating the story. I love good story. I love it. Apparently, so does Troy. So that's cool to know because he loves that shit.
And Josh really likes lore.
Yeah, so he's gonna be loring the shit out of it. It's gonna be interesting to see how this goes. I'm anticipating what we find out the campaign start is, like, because I'm assuming you're gonna tell us, okay, make your character. It's this many years, or 2 days, or 5,000 years from the point, so that we know what kind of environment we're building our character into. Because we don't want the backstory to be like, I was Gerard's son, and they're like, well, it's been a long fucking.
It's me,
really fucking old guy.
It's me, like, Shakademus. I'm Nicodemus's son.
We just pull a fucking betrayal.
Yeah,
shoehorning in new relatives.
Bertha.
Like, how many times have you been able to keep this name going family-wise?
We can't
Somebody
keep
got married
getting away
sometime.
with this, old man.
So, but no, I don't have any direct questions. I'm curious to see how the story starts so that we know what to build in. Because, again, knowing the world's one thing, but this is part of why I want to know more about like the character.
I want to know what love is.
I built a reptile man and they're like, well, okay, like based off of his actual race, like he needs water this much time a day. And I'm like, fuck, I built him in a desert.
Yeah, surprise! Like, there's no water.
You can't really do that, or this character can't be near water, or he bursts into like a weird ethereal flame, and it's like, oh fuck, I put him under the ocean.
Jesus, that sucks ass. Oh well. Time to roll a new character.
It'd be a hell of a curse. Every time you get wet, you get set on fire.
Oh my god!
How does this make sense? I am playing a half orc that is voiced by Seth Rogen.
Ew, no, I quit. Oh no, not the laugh. You either have to duct tape his mouth shut or not say anything funny ever.
Hey man, I'm just here to tell you.
I don't know. I think you went to Kermit on that. Yeah, you sounded a little bit too much like Kermit the Frog.
The only Seth Rogen impression I can do is when he's screaming at someone when he's like upset. But even that.
Yeah, and we're good. We don't need that. I spent 20 minutes of our last session tolerating 3 different Trump impressions, Murph. So it's gonna be really fucking lucky if we actually meet on Sunday, because I don't know if I can deal with that again.
Well, again,
Jesus Christ,
we gave Josh all the Trump impressions. That's
no one gets them. No one gets any impressions. Not on my table.
Trump.
No one gets to do any impressions. The only impression you can do is an impression of your character, because I'm going to require character voices, and I'm going to be.
I'm curious to see how.
I'm going to be very strict about it, because it's very difficult, especially when you have a group of people in close proximity to each other. Telling, if you don't have character voices, how do you know the difference between what they're saying to the characters or what they're saying to the players? It's really fucking annoying, because then it becomes
this is my voice.
This is
like,
hello. My name is Ethel.
It's Brittany, bitch. It's like, oh, okay, thank you.
I cast fireball. Ah.
I am Persephone. I have returned. Like, fuck.
No. And that is going to be a rule, though, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to set it too far in the future, but no one's going to be able to play anyone that we've named. I don't want any of that.
I should just start naming a shit ton of people. So you're forced to be
like, I mean,
fuck, I gotta keep up with all these.
Also, I want Troy to come up with his own name for a fantasy character, because he's really intimidated by that, and I need him to get better at it.
What was it, Jagobi?
Bagobi. The
God,
boy Bagobi.
Bagobi
is integral to the survival of this world, I think.
Yeah, he came in and said he was being chased by monsters, and then we never talked about that again.
No, we didn't. So who knows? No one's taking care of the monsters, Murph. What are they at?
I don't know. Hopefully the fucking nomad people dealt with them, because that was.
Who knows? Who knows, Murph? I think, but that is the nice thing about this, is there's a lot of loose ends, and I really appreciate that, because it's going to allow for a lot of interesting situations to be in. I'm
excited for
it. Gaming news, sort of. I think they've announced the Witcher 3 Enhanced Edition, or whatever it is.
The new generation update for it. Yeah.
So that's cool. As I'm
replaying
replaying it.
could have sworn that they had said that they had scrapped that or something.
No, they came out saying that they're going to do it and that it's coming. So that was what everyone was waiting on. I think that was the last I heard. This was a couple days ago, so that might have changed.
That'll give me a reason to buy it again, I guess.
Yeah, I'm hoping that for PC they just do like everyone else does and just make it a backwards compatible update to where it's or not backwards compatible, but
or just it's like the anniversary edition of Skyrim.
Yeah, you just get
instead
it.
of having to buy it again, you can just update.
And I'm also annoyed because they announced that after I already started replaying The Witcher 3. So it's okay, so either it's going to come out when I'm halfway done, or it's going to come out and I've already replayed The Witcher 3 and I'm not going to want to play it for another 5 years.
Well, maybe if it comes out at a specific point, if maybe it'll have additional content to it, so you can just play the update. Like the save will continue. You won't have to start over.
But that's the thing really is I was realizing as I was playing The Witcher 1 and 2 is if the graphics are bad, it doesn't matter if the story's good. I played all of The Witcher 1, did all the extra shit, all the contracts, all the quests, 100% complete on Steam. And I realized how shitty the graphics were at the end. I was like, oh my God. Because I went to The Witcher 2 and I was like, Jesus Christ, the graphics are so much better. I was like, how the fuck did I play this? Because the game was good. Who the fuck cares about the graphics? So I was kind of even thinking, as far as The Witcher 3 goes, I really like the graphics. There are no problems in my mind with the graphics.
It won Game of the Year 3 consecutive years.
Yeah, because it's a good fucking game.
So
it's a good fucking game.
It was a fucking baby. That's why I hate that Cyberpunk turned out the way it did, because I really had a lot of high hopes. Well, are you gonna play it now that the updates are coming out?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm waiting. I played through it when it came out. And I didn't have any bugs. I didn't have any issues.
Oh, I fucking did.
I played I think I did a lot. I think I did a lot of the side quests, a lot of the shit. But that was, that was right after I broke up with my ex. That was 2 years ago. 2 years ago when it came out. I think 2019.
And my buddy Brandon ended up getting it fairly close to release, and then I no-lifed it pretty hard. I never beat the campaign because there was a couple of glitches that literally would just there was one NPC that I had to talk to complete a specific story chapter, and she would during conversation float into the ceiling.
Oh yeah, that's part of the story. That's actually what it's supposed to happen.
Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't beat the game because of specific things. Every time I get on a motorcycle and I drive, if I hit any kind of bump, I launch into the air nuclear. Yeah, to it's
like GTA 5 physics.
Oh, okay, glad that happened. And then it's of course, at some point gravity goes, oh fuck, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah,
and then I just plummet to my death.
All the way down, all the way down.
And then I'm the autosave feature on it is so random. Sometimes it's very intuitive, and I'm cool. And then sometimes I'll die on accident, I'll fall off of something and die. And then I'll be 2.5 hours behind where I was. And I was like, no, I don't want to do all that shit again.
Yeah. I think I had a moment of clarity, a moment of thought. I think I'm going to introduce a segment into this podcast because, podcasts are known for bits and segments and, things. So I think every week we're going to rotate. We're going to have a game of the week that we're going to discuss. It can be any board game, any video game, any tabletop game, any game. I will even allow mobile games. So, if you want to talk about Clash Royale, we can't talk about Raid Shadow Legends. We cannot talk about Raid Shadow Legends because
you mentioned it. I have to purify myself.
Hold on. I must now leave. I just got to check actually. Hold on. I've got a check right here from Raid Shadow Legends. No, but I would sell out so quickly if you gave us money, Raid Shadow Legends.
If it was, look, I've never played it, so I
just want money.
If the game was good, I wouldn't care.
I
don't want to.
I don't play games on my phone. I don't like I don't like it. It's not fun. When I was 14, maybe. I don't have a tablet. I don't want a tablet. I got enough things. But yeah, so every week we'll discuss a tabletop something.
Is there just one presented for both of us?
No, we'll rotate.
Just pick one. Okay.
We'll rotate. So I will start this week by telling you what I'm going to talk about next week. Okay. Because we've only got 2 minutes left on our hour. Okay, sorry, so I didn't want to.
I was confused by that.
I want
I will talk about.
I will tell you this week what I will talk about next week. I will gladly pay you tomorrow for a hamburger today. But yeah. So I think next week I want to talk about a game I think I'm gonna go tabletop role playing game, and I want to do a deep dive on. Can you guess?
Can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead. Guess.
The first. Wait, is it related to anything we talked about today?
I think we've mentioned it before. I think we mentioned it. Not today.
Is it the Quest game that you were talking about, that has the stackable pieces and the people that they just re-announced is coming back out?
No, I've already done that. I don't want to talk about it.
Well, then, okay. So my second guess is the tabletop RPG 2077, which is what Cyberpunk is based off of.
Oh, that's a good one. That can be yours. I'm gonna have a deep discussion on a tabletop a tabletop role playing game called Urban Shadows, because I am looking for I kickstarted. I don't know. It's on one of those. I think it's BackerKit that I did this on the second edition, because I was gonna get the first set of books, and then they were like, oh, but the second edition we're taking funds now, so I did like the pledge. I did like. I think a year ago now, I had like $200 to this. It's got like all the things coming out. It's powered by the Apocalypse gaming system, so it only uses D6s. And it also only has one sheet for your character that you need, and it's got all your leveling up, like all that is on the sheet. It can be modern times, it can be past times, but Urban Shadows is about like political machinations between beings. So they've got ghosts, they've got werewolves, they've got vampires, they've got specters, beings.
It was so anticlimactic.
Because I was gonna say monsters.
Political machinations between
beings. Because I was trying to think. I was like, I can't say monsters because like you don't have to have a monster.
But it's like just beings was the most descriptive things that you could have said. It's a country full of
things. This is my anti climax right here. You
just blue-balled the entire audience.
Well, because it's like, so you got vampires, werewolves, ghosts, prophets. You've got all these different like sort of supernatural monster-esque types, but it's not so much action adventure as it is doing jobs and trading favors and moving in certain circles and
life. Got it.
Yeah, so but it's a lot more dark, it's a lot more gritty, and it's set usually in modern times. So like you've got like trains and cars and planes and shit and stuff, and it's really cool. There's a few people that have done like podcasts on it, like as actual plays. And it's fun. It's the same system that Monster of the Week is, which is something I've definitely mentioned before as one of my favorites.
Jaylee was thinking about that when you were describing it.
But it's separate from that. It's definitely more supernatural-esque, because in Monster of the Week, there's not a lot of supernatural powers, and the ones you do have are like super like difficult to use. Whereas in this one, everyone's got a gimmick. Everyone's got a thing. The werewolves can change shape. The vampires can influence people. But we'll get into that more next week on our new segment that is yet to be named, because Game of the Week sounds boring, and that's like something I'm sure someone else does.
Peak of Interest segment.
Say again?
The Peak of Interest segment.
Oh, okay. I like how I leaned in to the mic, even though that's not.
What?
I can't hear you, Murph. Murph, come in, Murph.
Sorry, I can't hear you without my glasses. It's like, what?
Oh my God. Well, you know why she says that, right? Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's because she's deaf and she reads lips.
That can't be right.
Mm-hmm. Because she's always hard of hearing, so she needs her glasses to see or not even read lips, but like Courage is specifically great at charades and describing things in motion, and it's because Muriel's partly deaf, so she needs her glasses to hear.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that would make sense. But that's a great joke, regardless.
Oh yeah, I can't hear you without my glasses.
I don't want any. Goddamn, I miss Eustace. That was my grandmother's favorite cartoon. I would come to her house.
My parents didn't like me watching that because it's creepy.
Yeah, it was creepy as fuck. And there was a lot of parents that didn't like it. But keep in mind, my grandparents didn't let me watch like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff.
Oh yeah. Satanic. Well, it is. Murph.
My grandmother, I would come to the house and she would actively be watching Courage the Cowardly Dog on her own. She would make my grandfather turn off the news to watch.
Your grandma sounds cool as fuck.
My grandmother sat down and played Spyro the Dragon because she thought it was adorable.
Yeah.
Like original PS1 Spyro the Dragon. I was playing Grand Theft Auto in their house, and she was like, "I love the music in that game."
Such a good game.
I'm glad that's all you heard, and not me stomping a prostitute to death.
Damn. Okay. Well, now we're gonna get shadow banned. I don't even know what that word
But
means.
either way, yeah. So that's always fun.
Anywho,
Okay, cool.
So stuff to look forward to. I think we're gonna call it there. It has been a fun time.
Yep. You asked last time, so I have to ask you.
Oh shit! I didn't even think of this. Our already super popular bit of surprise the other co-host with ending a zinger or one-liner or question
or just random fucking out of your ass comment. All right, do you have anything else you want to put out before we?
I have nothing. I'm gonna say. Don't butter your toast before the oven's preheated. That's my quote. That's my zinger. Yeah.
That actually threw me off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Cool. So yeah. Check out John whenever he decides to stream again. That's always an important. I don't know if he ever will. He's been pretty fucking busy recently.
I have been really busy.
Because is this just considered a busy season at work for you?
Yes, it's always the busy season.
Winter months. Oh, it's always.
It's always busy, but this is specifically busier.
Okay.
No. Yeah, and check out Murph when he does stuff, which is Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, I've got. So starting this upcoming Thursday, not tomorrow, but the next upcoming, so like October going forward. October is spooky month on my channel, which means Tuesdays have been swapped to Resident Evil playthrough with me and my buddy Zero. And then what?
No, I used the camera to get something out of my teeth.
I was like,
which is very professional on a stream. Yeah. It's hot.
Okay, if my nose itches, it just looks like I'm over here just like beating the hell out of myself. But Tuesdays are Resident Evil with Zero, and then Thursdays are me and Eros Huskers finishing the Halo campaign.
Oh, fun.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Hot take here. Really haven't enjoyed playing Halo 1 campaign.
No.
Been kind of a hot mess.
No, Murph. No, it does not sound fun.
But yeah, that'll be coming out. All right, so that's all the announcements I got. That's all the announcements you got.
Tweet us, email us, Twitch us, YouTube us.
Yeah, that is going. Is episode 10 out?
Yeah,
like, is everything else already up? Okay, cool.
I've been really good. Almost next day delivery on those, Murph. I've been really great.
Yeah, they changed the rules on that now, so we're not affiliate yet anyway. So
no, we're not.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. And John, what's in the dungeon?
Murph, I think what's in the dungeon right now is you enter the dungeon and hold on, let me get I'll do some ASMR. You enter the dungeon and you look deep in the dark, creeping shadows of the night. And as you do, you hear a slurping sound and as you do,
where's me mallet?
you come upon a sight to behold. It is Ted Cruz drinking out of a sippy cup in a diaper.
Cruz, shouldn't he be in like the Bahamas or something?
And that's it. I've been John. That's been Murph. Everyone have a great night. Bye.